Hello, and welcome back to Sharing a Chapter a Day. This is Do, Ra, me, and today I will be reading Chapter 34 of Engagement in Peril by Dara, Odoe, Sup. Chapter 34 is titled Uncle Dang's Second Visit. During the summer of 1981, my mom's little brother Dang visited us once again from Belgium. It was now his second trip to the States. By this time, he was several years older and was now married and has a young son. His wife is Darren, who was of mixed Cambodian Chinese origin and several years younger than he is. She's a nice woman with a good heart. And their first son was Makara, who eventually became the oldest of his four sons. He and his family came and visited us once again from Belgium. It was now our second time meeting each other in a very long time. My uncle, Dang, had been separated from my mother, his sister, since our stay together in Khao Dang in Thailand during the late 1970s. Now, while staying with us at our apartment in Long Beach off Lime Avenue, Mother took Uncle Dang and his family shopping and sightseeing while I was at school, and during one weekend, while they were staying with us, we all went to Disneyland together. It was the first and last time that I went there. You know, Dara, you're no fun at all. You're such a downer. No one was gonna have fun with you around. That's why you often stick to yourself, to your lonesome self. Good luck with that, buddy. Hope you find happiness being alone. As I tell myself for being such a bastard and an asshole. I didn't really enjoy my outing there at Disneyland with my family then. Supposedly it was the happiest place on earth. But I wasn't happy at all then. I got into an argument with my stepfather. He yelled at me for getting on top of the truck to signal them where the car was parked. I got angry and yelled back at him, and then he belittled me in front of everybody, embarrassing me in the process and getting me more wild up and angry. As a result of my argument, the rest of the day went bad. I stayed mostly to myself and just walked behind everyone else at various rides and events. We got to go on the go-karts, we saw Captain EO, and I even bought a stuffed Minnie Mouse in a black polka dot dress for Suzanne as a surprise gift for her since she wasn't able to come along, although I had invited her and my parents were cool with that. But she was afraid to ask her parents if she could come. The Minnie Mouse gift that I had given her, well, she got rid of it real quick after we split up early in our freshman year together at Polytechnic High School that fall. My uncle and his family stayed with us for several weeks before they returned to Belgium. Uncle Dang looked so similar to my mother. After all, they were blood related and sisters and brother. He was a cool uncle, and he consoled me when I had that argument with my stepfather. While I was at school, he and his wife were taking to Chinatown and shop in LA. They shopped for jeans and other items to take back to Belgium as gifts and surprise for their family back there. My uncle and his family visit was a nice experience. Before he left, he reminded me to take care of my mom and watch over my sibling. On our last day in Long Beach and the state, we all took up my uncle and his family out to have dinner at a nice buffet restaurant. And I thanked him and his wife for visiting us and told them that I hope to visit them one day in Belgium, which I eventually did several years back, while my trip with that cursed bitch Delilah. The same illness that she has given to Shin Shin. My parents drove and dropped my uncle and his family off at LAX, while I stayed behind to watch over my younger sibling at our apartment that evening. Now, being happy and mindful that my uncle and family had visited, the rest of the summer went great. I thought I was on top of the world. Little did I know that my craving for Kelly would return to kick me in the ass that following fall when school started. The events that were about to happen was unexpected. Should I tell them now, Dara? Or should let's try to explain what my mistakes you made and what an idiot you were then in front of your freshman year of high school? as I questioned my young self of his inability to distinguish right and wrong then. Now, my sexual encounter with Suzanne lasted for several years until a sudden horrible breakup during the beginning months of our freshman years together in high school, when my once deep feeling for Kelly resurfaced and revealed itself during one of our sexual escapades. Several times I would call Suzanne by the wrong name during our fisting and eating away of each other. I would actually call out Kelly's name instead. Suzanne got quite upset over that matter. Luckily for me, she eventually came around and forgave me for that. I guess she was really deep in love with me then. Well, there you go, Dara. Suzanne really loved you then, and you were such a total douche to her. You selfish son of a bitch. You could really even be happy with that girl. Perhaps she could have been the one for you. She could have been your life. Another thing that became between Suzanne and I was the fact that she would never tell her parents about our relationship, or even that she had a guy friend that she really liked. She always kept our relationship a secret. What the hell was she hiding? And what was it about me that was so terrible? It goes to show the same thing that Shinshin with Delilah, that bitch of a suckbitch, did. The same thing to Shinshin when he was in relation with her a few years back. She too hid their relation from her mother and friends. I didn't even know Shinshin about that bitch Delilah. Although he had no idea he was seeing her as well. Although I had no idea he was seeing her as well. Then when we were several years back younger. Whether she was ashamed or not, I know not. Then I sometimes feel that Suzanne might be ashamed of me or something. I in turn told my parents and friend all about her. They accepted her into our homes. That's one of the main reasons why we broke up, but mainly it was about me still longing and lusting for Kelly. That was the cause of our breakup during our first year together at Poly High School, off Atlantic. Personally, the sexual experience that I and Suzanne had with Suzanne was an overwhelming learning experience. She was my first, and I feel that we have learned much from one another, mainly how to get down and dirty, doing the nasty and tearing each other apart. In all, I'm glad of those sexual experiences we had happen. Maybe it was a little premature since we were only 13, but can't change the time, and it was worth it. The experience that I had sexually at a young age had made me a more rounded person and more experienced adult who is now more careful about having sex with anyone. I am more patient now about jumping into bed with strangers. I'm not as horny as I once was. I am more relaxed and in self-control in all my sexual deviance. I am quite picky when it comes to bedding someone nowadays. I don't know what it is with me, but I like to fall in love first now before I fuck someone. It's just the way I became. The experience that I have endured have made me the way I am. Well, Dara, that's not really true anymore. I recently hooked up with a girl I knew for a few days. We had sexual intercourse several times already. I must admit, she's quite tasty down there, with one of the cleanest and nicest and juiciest vagina I had ever had eaten. I met her during a training session in the Green Valley Miss area when I worked for the Denver Public School. And we hooked up eventually. We met during a training, I offered to drive her home, and one thing led to another, we were fucking. Sad to say, we don't really talk to each other anymore. I guess we were just each other's booty call several times during that summer months of 2010. You'll read more about Kaya later on as I reminisce about my recent adventures. Now, Suzanne and I hardly ever kept in touch since our high school days. I've only seen her once or twice, and spoken to her several times on the phone since then. But that was so long ago. Oh yeah, during one of our conversations, Suzanne would brag and boast about her new boyfriend and how they liked getting it on and down and dirty, giving details of sexual things they did to each other. Not the things I would want to hear from an ex-lover. I guess she was just rubbing it in my face, trying to make me feel jealous or envious for some of her sexual encounter. I just laughed it off, and at the time I think about it, perhaps Suzanne was trying to find a way to hurt me emotionally. I was never stuck on her since our breakup, Not like the way I was stuck on Kelly. I guess you're right, Dara. Suzanne was trying to rub it in your face. You know she did you wrong when she quickly found a new boyfriend during your high school year together after your sudden breakup. Last time I saw Suzanne was in a Food for Less grocery store on Willow and Walnut, where she was there with her sister Annie and a friend and several kids with them. One of the little girls calls Suzanne mommy, so I guess she has kids now. Well, most recently, she has 3 children, I believe. She had told me when we met during the Cambodian New Year parade off of Anaheim Street several years back. In the Food for Less grocery store, I stood right behind them in the checkout line, but to my surprise and relief, they didn't even recognize me and didn't bother, and so I didn't bother introduce myself. I just kept my distance and waited for my turn. I have also talked to Suzanne several times through the internet, and a while back I was sitting on the same poker table with her husband. I recognized him from his picture and their family picture on her MySpace account. I just sat there, played my card, and kept my mouth shut. Last I heard, she dropped out of medical school at UCLA and is now working with some sort of office, doing office work and clerical work and such. There you go, God. That's some of my confessions so far. Then again, you already know what I have done and what sins I have committed these several decades of my sinful life. That's my adolescent sexual experience in a nutshell. A horny teenager who once had it all. I had someone to love, someone to hold, someone to comfort, but lost it all on account of his lust for her best girlfriend, who was cursed to be his ill-burdened crush. I sometimes wish I had a moment with Kelly. To this day, I sometimes think about Kelly and imagine what could have been between her and me. Jesus Christ, Dara. Get over Kelly already. And Suzanne's your past, and you have had better than. Remember Benevolence, the girl you were engaged to and with? She was supposed to be good for you, but then again, it wasn't meant to be. She too would break your heart and get knocked up by another. I explained to myself of the lust that once lost and found and lost again. Thank you for listening. This is the end of chapter 34. Be on the lookout for chapter 35, titled My Cakes and Eat It Too. This is Do Ra Mi, and I'll see you later. Thank you.